Well, welcome everyone. We are back in week 13 here. Hey, a couple more weeks before playoff hits. Here we are once again, as usual, Jim, Jed, and Jimmy, as we are recording on a Monday night, as I am sitting here flipping between the Tampa game as against the New Orleans Saints and some NBA games that are happening tonight.
And did you watch soccer earlier in the day too?
Okay, Jed, I have never watched a soccer game.
Oh, you didn't watch the US at all?
No, it's a 3:00. Now, my roommate, when I was in Indonesia, was sitting there as I woke up to, what is that noise? He was watching soccer. I didn't watch a single minute of it. So now at the same time, but I hear it was okay.
Yeah, I was watching South Korea today, but they got crushed by Brazil. That was terrible. And then it was sad, Japan too. That was another bad loss. But it was fun watching the US until they pretty much just got outclassed. Like this is the round now where it's like the real, when you see the good teams, it's a big difference.
Yeah. So Japan, who did Japan lose to?
That's a good question. They lost 2-1. Who was that? I gotta look it up now.
Yeah. Jim, did you watch soccer at all?
No, I'm not. And I'm paying, I'm looking. I'm trying to watch this game between the Saints and the Bucks. It's the most boring. The most exciting thing was the Taysom Hill touchdown.
Yep. Jed, it was
he scored
against Croatia.
Yeah,
Croatia. That's what it was. Croatia. I almost
touchdown.
picked up Taysom Hill just yesterday because I was
right?
I bet he might sneak in and get something.
Yeah,
Jed, I'd like to say I went in and picked up Taysom Hill. So I was very excited. Hey, let's start off with a couple games here. I want to start off with the Bears versus the Green Bay Packers. I was watching. Now I couldn't watch it from Indonesia, but I was watching the scoreboard, and I kept getting updates that Justin Fields was scoring, and suddenly Christian Watson came alive. And wow, did he good. A.J. Dillon, 18 carries, 93 yards, 1 touchdown. Aaron Jones only had 9 catches, 9 rushes, 26 yards. But Christian Watson, 3 catches, 48 yards, 1 touchdown, as well as another rushing yard, 1 rush, 46 yards, and another touchdown. He did very, very well.
Did you know he's
you think he's a keeper league guy now?
Yeah, he's got 8 touchdowns in the last 4 games. And he's one of those. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Romeo Dobbs. It's Christian Watson, his second rounder. That guy's pretty good.
He's fast. He's so fast. Anytime, and that's why he scored on that runaround. It was a reverse. And but he just basically outran everybody. It was crazy.
But Aaron Rodgers looked so bad. Did you watch that? I watched portions of the game. He just looked old, like something's going on. But did you hear afterwards? He's like, "Oh yeah, I still own Chicago."
Oh yeah, it was painful. So Tommy, I was like, that was so painful to bring that up because it was. Yeah, and for him to get 2 wins this year, but I think this might be his last year here in Green Bay. I don't know. He looked pretty bad, man.
I mean, if I were them, I would play Jordan Love, right? But he says last week, unless they statistically are eliminated, he's going to keep on playing. If I was the Packers, I want to be like, I want to see what Jordan Love can do.
Yeah, he didn't look bad last week.
Yeah.
On the Bears end, hey, look. Right now, if the season was to end today, the Bears would have the 2nd pick in the NFL draft. I would say keep losing. Houston has number 1. The Bears have the number 2 pick. They don't need a quarterback. Trade it because there are 4 good quarterbacks out there. Trade it for multiple picks.
Oh yeah, you can get
number 2. Keep going.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I would trade it. I just hope that they keep losing. Do they play Philadelphia next? Is that who they play?
I think in 2 weeks. I think they may be playing.
I mean, they've got some pretty hard opponents coming up, and so the fact that they're going to be able to keep losing, I'm.
Oh, they're on a bye next week. Bears.
Are they on a bye next week? Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, but seriously, Justin Fields, he did pretty well, 254 yards. He did throw 2 interceptions, but he also ran for 71 yards. I mean, other than that, there's really with Darnell Mooney out for the year. Probably David Montgomery is the only guy, unless you go to IDP. Jim Scanlon has done really, really well as an IDP player.
Yeah, you mean Sam?
Don't forget Cole Kmet.
Oh yeah, Cole Kmet is pretty good too.
Cole Kmet's been he's been doing good. Yeah.
Yeah, but Sanborn has been really, really good.
No, but here's the problem. Here's the problem with Justin Fields yesterday was he could have had a 30-point game, but because of the 2 interceptions, that brought him down to about 20 points, and so that was the difference. But for me, I was trying to decide, should I play Justin Herbert or should I play Justin Fields? And Herbert and Fields did pretty evenly during the day.
Yeah. Let's go to another one. Even though it's a boring game, there was a couple players that did stay out. Cleveland Browns won 27-14 against the Houston Texans. Jed, love your thoughts on it. Deshaun Watson had 1 interception, 1 sack, 131 yards. What did you think?
Other than wanting Aaron Rodgers to lose, I really wanted Watson to lose, and they were losing. I think through the first half, I think maybe even through the third quarter, but then they Houston imploded. I think there was a pick 6 in there, and like they just imploded. And so I mean, I felt so bad. But I guess the good news to me is Watson looked terrible. They didn't win because of Watson. Watson didn't engineer a touchdown drive. I don't think until like the fourth quarter. It was mainly the defense scoring. The defense outscored the offense, I believe.
The defense got me 24 points. I was jumping for joy because I picked up Cleveland Browns on waiver for 2 of my teams.
That was smart. Yeah, that was really smart.
Yeah,
but yeah, Watson didn't look good. He had a lot of rust. But you know what? I mean, again, I hope no one's playing him. But if you are playing him, I mean, you got to wait. You got to expect that he would have a little bit of rust.
But you know who actually had a pretty decent day? The person you told me about, Donovan Peoples-Jones. He actually had double-digit fantasy points, right?
Because he had the touchdown return.
Yeah, totally. So he was actually pretty decent.
Yeah, no. We were talking about him as a streamer, Tommy. Last week we were saying that if you needed a wide receiver help, Donovan Peoples-Jones is not a bad move. And same with Njoku, who got hurt, but I think he's coming back.
He's coming back. It was just 1 week, so he'll be back.
Yeah. So again, tight end is so weak this year. That's another guy to look at.
Yeah.
And honestly, wouldn't you say a lot of times defense, tight end, and kicker, you could really play by matchups. Immediately, I sat there and said, they're playing the Houston Texans, and they have a pretty good defense. So as a result, Arizona was on bye. I went and picked those guys up.
Yeah, I was just going to say, for any of you guys going into the playoffs, or if this is your last week, it's hard to find a lot of points at the major, positions. So don't forget the kicker and the defense positions. Like, even if you just go from, let's say you've been streaming and you've got like a 12th ranked kicker or 13th ranked defense, even if you can just move up into like the top 10, right? That could be the difference between you winning this week or not. So don't forget to look at those 2 positions.
Aren't you surprised that there's a number of teams that are going to have a bye this week? It's pretty close to playoffs. I'm surprised that the byes have gone this late in the season.
It's because of the extra week, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Jim, in terms of Jacksonville against the Detroit Lions, Amon-Ra St. Brown did pretty well. 11 catches, 114 yards, 2 touchdowns. I know you like him a lot.
I like Amon-Ra St. Brown. He did really well for me in like 3 out of my 8 leagues that I played in. Him, Christian Watson, Justin Jefferson, I would say Garrett Wilson, surprised a lot of people. Those 4 had really good fantasy days. But I actually thought maybe with Jameson Williams coming from the injured list, that might hurt Amon-Ra St. Brown. But no, he actually had 29 fantasy points. He had 12 targets, 11 receptions, 114 yards, touchdowns. So he had a great day.
Yeah. Hey, both DeAndre Swift, Jed, and as well as Jamal Williams scored 1 touchdown, and Swift did pretty good, 14 carries, 62 yards.
Yeah, I mean, better, but as you guys said last week that I missed, Williams is definitely the one to own, and so it seems like he continued, so that was good. And I was surprised you haven't brought up Cam yet. I was just waiting for that.
We're working on that.
Let me ask you, do you think Williams, the rookie from Alabama, do you think he's worth these next few weeks? If you need a receiver, is he worth a flyer?
Williams from
I think
LA?
Detroit.
Oh,
Jameson
Jamal Williams?
No, Jameson Williams, right?
Jameson Williams.
Yeah, Jameson Williams, the wide receiver from Detroit. I mean, he didn't do anything this past week, even though they scored so much, but he was highly touted. He was supposed to be like one of the top receivers before he got injured.
Honestly, with St. Brown and 2 running backs, I'm not expecting very much from him. I think a lot of times this is his spring training or training camp. I'm not expecting anything from him this year.
Yeah. Anyways, can I brag a little bit about my dynasty league? Let me tell you my running backs: Eckler, Pollard, McCaffrey, Etienne, Harris, Pacheco. I got to figure out.
But who are you going to keep? You can't keep them all.
I can't keep them all, and I'm going to lose. Oh, and Eckler too, and I'm going to lose Amon-Ra St. Brown, Justin Herbert, and Garrett Wilson.
Hey, I can't wait to draft all those guys. Thank you, Jimmy.
I think it's going to come down to me. Wait, did you win this week in our dynasty league? Where are you?
I know I lost. I'm out.
Oh yeah, you're ninth. You're in ninth place.
Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah. So let's just.
But I've already got my 4 guys set, so I'm done.
Well, let's just hope me and you in the Walter White League will face off against each other.
No, I don't. I want us to be on opposite sides of the bracket, so at least one of us can get some money.
Yeah.
All right, so here's where I get stuck at, because on when I won other leagues, I've done pretty well, but I'm stuck with these wide receiver. Godwin, who has done historically pretty well the last couple of weeks, but did not do well, is not doing well this week. Jamar Chase, Christian Watson, Keenan Allen, Hopkins, and Kirk. Man, I just don't know who to play a lot of times.
Yeah, those are all pretty good.
Yeah, your top 2 guys are good, Watson and Jamar Chase. Chase looked great.
Yeah,
I mean that was his first time back, and he had 7 for 94 something. He looked great.
But my argument is, I'm tempted to play Christian Kirk every single time.
Why?
You have 15 points.
No,
Trevor Lawrence has been doing great.
No, you got to stick with Christian Watson.
No, you're right. Christian Watson, almost 25 fantasy points.
And Jamar Chase can go off for 2 touchdowns, no problem.
You got to keep Jamar Chase. You got to keep Christian Watson. Tom,
so
I wouldn't
bench Keenan Allen then.
Well, here's the thing. I bench White, right, and then I would do Christian Watson. I would do Jamar Chase. I would do Christian Kirk and DeAndre Hopkins, and you bench Godwin and Allen. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Man, Joe Burrow, just saying, he's been next to Jalen Hurts. Joe Burrow has been on fire, man. He's been scoring a lot of points. So
and Jeff, remember I know Jeff's on that league. I got him on waivers because Jeff Zerker, our other guy, dropped him on waivers.
Who?
Joe Burrow.
Oh, did he really? Oh,
yeah, this was week 4. Why in the world did he put him on waivers?
Yeah, Joe. No, I was watching the game yesterday when he was playing.
He looked so good.
You're right. He looked so good. And part of it is, think about the team he's got around him, right? He's got Boyd, Higgins. He's got Mixon. He's got Jamar Chase, Pirine. He's even got Hayden Hurst in a good line. He's actually doing really. But I still think the MVP this year is going to be Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Hurts has been unbelievable. Yeah. That's why for me, most of my leagues that I've been doing well in, it's because I got AJ Brown, and AJ Brown has just been eating it up. So
yeah. I mean, we all thought it was going to be Josh Allen, but the last few weeks, Josh Allen. I mean, they're still winning, right? But he's only averaged like 16, 17 fantasy points. Even Mahomes looked average compared to Burrows.
I think Allen is still a little bit hurt. I think he's not the same guy.
Yeah.
Now, am I right in saying this? Lamar Jackson, he has not looked good. He wants to be the highest paid quarterback in the league by far. If you were the Baltimore Ravens, would you pay him the highest amount? He wants Deshaun Watson money.
Well, he got injured yesterday, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you guys were there, would you give him that money?
I mean, I think Baltimore's going to give him the money because I don't think they have any other options. I wouldn't give him the money. I don't think he's – look, if you tell me you can give the money to like a Joe Burrows or a Lamar Jackson, I'll give it to Burrows I'll even give it to Herbert before I give it to Lamar Jackson.
But you don't have that option. If I'm Baltimore, you have to ask yourself, well, what's the option if I don't give the money to this guy?
Aaron Rodgers.
No. Oh, no. I was okay. So I was watching the Colts versus Cowboys game yesterday. I was like, these teams are going after these old has-been quarterbacks. Like, I don't know if you watched it last night, Jed, but Matt Ryan looks so old.
Yeah, he does.
So the defense is catching up to. I mean, that's why Dallas scored 54 points yesterday.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah. But at the same time, everyone's going after. There's 4 quarterbacks in this draft. They said last year's draft was terrible. this year's, there's 4 decent quarterbacks in this year's draft. I bet you everyone that puts the Bears, our favorite team, in a great place for them to trade for multiple picks.
Yeah. Well, and if anything, the Bears showed you, I mean, basically you got to just keep hunting until you find a quarterback. And then once you finally do, then you start building everything. That's what I'm saying. Baltimore, what choice do they have? I mean, I feel like you got to sign the guy and then keep building around
No,
him.
they will. I mean, my guess is they'll sign him for like $50 million a year, you know,
Yeah.
because he's not going to go for less than that. He's going to hold out, but he's going to get his money. Hey, they can go after Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, I was thinking he might come into 49ers, take over for Jimmy G. That was a bad. Did you guys see that injury?
Yeah,
Injury.
I feel bad because who maybe Purdy will do well, right? But Jimmy G had them going to the Super Bowl. But now with Purdy as the quarterback, who knows what's going to happen?
So I didn't watch that game. Is he out for the year or what's his?
He's out for the year.
Oh, he's out for a year. Fractured ankle.
Yep.
Fractured foot. I don't know if it was his ankle. It was his
yeah,
foot.
I mean,
Basically,
you knew right when he got injured and they wheeled him off in that cart, you knew he was going to be done.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah. I'm telling you, he's had a lot of bad luck. You can't depend on him to face a year. Now, the other one, man, who's the one they traded for, the young rookie? Is he
Trey
out?
Lance? Trey Lance is injured as well too. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, he's out for the year too.
I mean,
you know who else looked good was Mike White on the Jets.
Oh yeah.
He's
for the Jets.
Good. Yeah.
I mean, look at Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson had 29 fantasy points, you know, and he had a couple of long ones. He could have had more if he caught a couple, but he looked good. I would play 250 yards. I think he had pretty good percentage. He did make a couple of mistakes down the road, but hey, I choose him over Zach Wilson.
And Geno Smith had a pretty good game too. I played him in one league, and he actually did pretty good. 20, 24, 25 points.
367 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. But look at Kenny Walker. He went out with the injury as well too.
Yeah, that was bad.
Well, Pete Carroll's came out. I was watching the interview. Pete Carroll did say he's day-to-day. He wasn't as serious as they thought it would be. They're thinking most likely he'll come back next week and play.
Yeah. You look at Lockett, 9 catches, 128 yards. Metcalf, 8 catches for 127 yards against a pretty good Rams defense too.
Yeah.
I think the Rams are tanking though. The Rams are giving up.
But Bobby Wagner got me 15 points.
And Cam Akers.
Yes, Cam Akers, 2 touchdowns.
Okay,
hey, I'm going after Cam Akers this week.
Do you think this is going to last, right? Do you think this is going to be? I mean, they have nobody else to play, right?
Yeah. Basically, I think it's garbage time. I think it's worth it. I think if you're in need of a running back, Cam Akers at this point is. I mean, like, what choices do you have? There's someone who could actually potentially get you 2 touchdowns. I mean, that's not bad at all. So I would take a flyer.
Yeah. What else sticks out to you about this particular week?
Let's see.
For you, was it Justin Herbert? I mean, he did 335, 1 touchdown. Keenan Allen, 88 yards. Other than that, Everett as a tight end got 80 yards. But I think a lot of times what they need is a Mike Williams for them to be operating on all cylinders. But even the Los Angeles Raiders, I'm telling you, Josh Jacobs, who in the world thought he would be this good? Yeah. Another game of 144 yards.
Well, Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams yesterday killed it, you know. And maybe it just took some time for them to kind of get adjusted to Derek Carr and also to the coach. But yeah, he's the reason why I lost in my Walter White league.
Yeah, both of those guys really turned it on. Also Dallas too. I mean, you know, we talked about 54 points for Dallas, but Dak Prescott, he's looked good coming back from injury. Everything seems to be clicking. I think Dallas is a good spot. And we talked about Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard actually started the game, if you guys saw that, and it was a disciplinary reason. So Zeke Elliott sat for I didn't hear why. What was the discipline for? But he didn't get the start and that broke his chain. I guess he'd been the starter for like 3 or 4 years straight.
Well, I mean, who is it? Pollard had 29 fantasy points.
Yep.
My Gallup is actually looking pretty good the last few weeks. 2 touchdowns yesterday from Dak Prescott. I mean, look, he's on a number of waivers out there. If you need somebody, I pick him up.
Yeah, that's not. I was just going to say that if you're looking for wide receiver, Gallup is definitely a good option to consider.
Yeah.
But we all have to agree, the most boring game yesterday. Denver against the Baltimore Ravens loses 9-10. It was boring. Look, Russell Wilson, 189 yards, 2 sacks. Levante Murray got nothing. Jerry Judy got nothing. Boy, was that such a boring game.
No, I mean, you got to think, right? Who knew that Geno Smith would become a much better quarterback than Russell Wilson, right? There's got to be some truth, because even like, I don't know if you've heard the rumors that some people are saying that Russell Wilson has lost the locker room in Denver as well too. But clearly something's not right, because either they don't have the players around him, or no one wants to play with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, it sounds like it's the latter. He's kind of worn out his welcome, because, and what a fast drop off. I mean, people, again, don't forget this. Russell Wilson was a top 5 quarterback for a long time. So,
I mean, and think about it, right? Like, they've got Cortland Sutton, they've got Jerry Judy. Cortland Sutton is out. He got injured yesterday. Javonte Williams. I mean, these guys were bound to go to the Super Bowl, and now they're gonna. I mean, the question is, are they going to look for another quarterback in the draft, because they are going to pick pretty high?
By the way, we're sitting here, Jed. I see you watching TV as well too.
Yeah.
We see Tom Brady throw for a long pass over to Julio Jones, and he overthrew him. The old Tom Brady or some of these youngers would have made a perfect catch, made a perfect throw to receive it. So I'm a little disappointed in terms of that. I was hoping that they would at least march down the field here.
No. Hey, how's White doing? White's got what, nine fantasy points right now?
Yeah, he's just not doing well. It's just been a quiet game, and they keep sitting there splitting targets between he and Fournette. And so I need Fournette to play less. I need White to play more here.
Hey, here's another player to watch out for. Did you guys watch Zonovan Knight? He's the running back for New York Jets. He did really well, actually. Zonovan Knight, he scored almost 15 fantasy points. And he had 90 rushing yards. What is that? Rushed 15 times, 90 rushing yards, 5 receptions for 28 yards, right? So if you're looking for somebody, especially this week with the number of teams off, he'd be a good pickup.
Yeah. How about waiver wires? Who are you guys looking at waiver wires this week as we start wrapping up this season as we head into the playoffs?
I don't know. Can you imagine it's coming? It's coming up so fast. We're almost done.
I know, week 14. It really, every year it just seems to fly by, and we have an extra week this year, and still seems really fast.
Here's a couple of people I want to highlight. James Cook, 14 rushes, 64 yards, and then he caught another 6 receptions for 14 additional yards. I think he's somebody that you want to pay attention to on the waiver wire. The other person, whether you want him or not, Michael Gallup, I think we talked about. Michael Gallup had 2 touchdowns, right? Only 23 yards catching, but he was somebody that was targeted in the red zone as well too. And actually, like, if you want a quarterback, we talked about him. I take a flyer on Purdy, and I take a flyer on Mike White, because I think they have enough weapons around him that you'll at least get some decent fantasy points on them.
Yeah, and even if it's garbage time, if they're losing by a lot, he's going to throw it a lot. Couple running backs, we talked about Cam Akers. I would look at Akers. I don't think that's a bad move. We talked about Zonovan Knight, but also Samaje Perine from Cincinnati, which I know that Joe Mixon is coming back, but he looked really good. And so, I think he's carved out a little bit more space, and you don't know how Joe Mixon's going to look coming back. And so that might not be a bad pickup going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys think. There's 3 running backs in Seattle. DJ Dallas, there's Kenneth Walker, Travis Homer, right? Homer was inactive. Walker went out. DJ Dallas hurt himself. So I don't even know who the running backs are. But here's the thing. If the running backs can't go, you want to target the receivers. You want to make sure you play Metcalf. You want to make sure you play Tyler Lockett, and you also want to make sure that you play Noah Fant, the tight end.
Yeah. But I'm saying there, Cam Akers, that's my number 1 draft. If I actually have a waiver wire at number 1, I'm going after Cam Akers.
Ooh, all right.
Yeah. You guys really think he's that good?
I love Cam Akers. Hey, I still have dreams of what he did in that playoff series. That's the Cam Akers that I still remember. I'm still hoping for.
Taysom Hill is going to be a hot commodity out there.
I wouldn't get Taysom Hill.
Really?
He's you don't want to chase touchdowns with him.
Yeah.
Once he gets his touchdown, then he's going to have a couple weeks off and then chase it again later.
I'm telling you, Zonovan Knight, the running back from New York, I actually go after him as well too.
Well, because James Robinson hasn't been doing very good.
Yeah,
And so with how well they've done, I would probably I would try him.
Yeah. Odell Beckham, you guys think Odell Beckham's going to hire?
I've got him. I've got him in a couple leagues, just waiting to see.
Somebody?
Yeah, I think he will. But I'm hearing that people are worried about his conditioning. I mean, he is 30 years old, so. But I think it's again just worth a shot just to see what's happening. Also, what's his name is coming back? Mecole Hardman, I think, is coming off of IR.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, so that's another guy to look out for.
Yeah, Jed, basketball. You and I are playing together this week.
Oh, are we? Man, your team is insane.
But if you look at your team, you're not that far off.
Well,
I'm 49-21. You have 47-20.
Well, yeah, but your team is insane. Like you have literally 5 out of the top 10 players are on your team. That's insane.
Yeah.
But a lot of them been injured, right?
Everyone's been injured. Yeah. Everyone turn around. They've been injured.
Yeah. Middleton so far has gotten me 5 points. Giannis did get me a double-double at 34-13. Doncic right now is at 29 points. And I was hoping to play Campaign. He hasn't been doing very much for me at all today.
Well, who is it? Paul George finally got back. Kawhi Leonard finally got back. Bradley Beal is out. Damon Lillard is back. Yeah, there's a lot of injuries this year.
Yeah, but the problem is a lot of times, even if you get Kawhi and Paul George, you don't know when they're going to be out again.
Yeah. By the way, did you guys see Kirstie Alley died from Cheers?
Oh, no, really?
Yeah, she died today.
Oh, that's sad. From what?
Cancer.
Wow. Man, we're totally at that age where celebrities die that we grew up.
It wasn't that long ago, right? Because I was just watching an episode. Of Cheers. It wasn't that long ago.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I want to say Cheers was one of my favorite shows growing up.
Oh yeah, that was a good show. That was a really good show. But I was gonna say, if you're on TikTok or Instagram, what's been interesting is how some of these shows have gotten a new life because they're just showing little clips, and then you start watching. So like I never watched The Big Bang Theory.
Oh yeah.
But I had friends who were constantly like, "Oh, you should watch it," and I didn't. But now I'm watching all these clips on Instagram, and it's hilarious. So I'm like, I should go back and watch it because it's really funny.
I will say, Big Bang Theory was a very, very funny show. It was very witty. If you like nerd humor, comic books, that was it.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, good hit.
There's 3 shows I watch a lot of reels on Facebook or TikTok. Big Bang, Modern Family, and Office. Those are the 3 I watch.
Yeah, I love Modern Family. That is hilarious. Modern Family is one of my favorites.
But seriously, the one guy that I watch late at night when I'm done with the Food Ranger. You guys ever watch this guy?
Oh yeah. Food Ranger's good.
It's this guy who is a Caucasian guy, but he travels all throughout Asia, and he just goes to all the food stalls and pick up food and watch them make it. It's great.
I'm gonna check it
out. So here's the thing, though, Tommy. I like watching those food shows that travel in Asia. I hate watching white guys do it. So I really like Strictly Dumpling. So like that one, you guys know that guy? It's an Asian guy, Mike Chen. So it's called Strictly Dumpling. And he does the same thing, but it's an Asian guy. So I'm like, I don't know why. I just don't like seeing the white guy do it.
But at the same time, when you're scrolling in the middle of the night, for some reason, is the one that gives it to you. So you'll watch it.
Oh, yeah, of course. It makes you hungry.
And also, I know a lot of times we're also talking about generally sports. The White Sox signed their first free agent this year from San Diego, Clevenger, one year. It is not Justin Verlander, Trey Turner. The Phillies always look like they have lots of money. They signed Trey Turner, but Aaron Judge is still out there as well too.
Yeah. Hey, who was it? The Cubs are trying to target somebody. There are a couple of people they just identified.
Yeah, but you know what? They have to try to figure out are they ready to compete, or are they going to sign a couple of people for 1 or 2 year deals and then make a run for it in 24, 25?
Hey, have you guys ever seen this guy before? He's a Chinese comedian, Jimmy Yang. I'll send it out.
Oh, yeah.
He's funny. He's hilarious.
Oh, yeah. He has that Netflix. Have you guys seen that movie that he's in? He's in this cute, like rom-com.
Oh, really?
It's pretty good. Yeah,
no, I like him. He's funny.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he's pretty good.
I'm gonna text him over to you, but sometimes when you watch his stuff, I was like, oh, that's actually I like him.
Well, it is 10-3. It continues to be a boring game. And here we are. They just made one shot over there. Guys, I mean, it's a couple weeks before playoffs time. I'm slowly watching some of my games. There's a couple of teams I've just given up on, whatever, but there's a couple of teams that I'm just really, really focused on in terms of a couple of my leagues I'm in.
Yeah. My biggest regret this year in the league that Tommy and I are in with some of our friends, I made one trade that really is going to make me lose. I trade Travis Etienne and Terry McLaurin and Amon-Ra St. Brown for Tyler Lockett and Kenneth Walker and McLaurin and Amon-Ra St. Brown for Tyler Lockett and Travis Etienne. And
That's not bad.
Yeah, but I kept Chris Olave. He was going to take Chris Olave, but I was like, oh no, Chris Olave is number one. I'm going to give him Amon-Ra St. Brown. Kept Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, Amon-Ra St. Brown has been really good. He's definitely been a revelation.
Yeah.
He had a couple of down weeks. I can understand where you were coming from. Olave was your only wide receiver option. Yeah. So you're sitting there, okay, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You're playing with Jared Goff. You have the running game. Let's give him up. Suddenly, Hawkinson gets traded. And so now St. Brown has continued to really be able to grow.
I don't know. You sometimes look back. I mean, I'm grateful for my grateful for the Walter White League, the Dynasty. I really enjoy the Dynasty. I think I'm better off Dynasty because if you can play off of a long-term game, you can do that. For some of these leagues, because it's a short term, it's hard to really build. Like once you've lost a couple of good players, like I lost Jamar Chase early on, it's hard. You're like trying to remake your team in the season.
Yeah.
Would any of you guys be the jerk if you're out of the playoffs? All you do is drop all your players and see what happens.
No, you can't do that, man. You got to kick anyone like that out of the league, or the guy who trades all his good players to someone. Don't let people do that, man. I hate that. But I also don't like people who are out of the playoffs and then they go and pick up people off the waiver wires. I'm like,
oh, do they? Okay.
I'm like, don't do that. Yeah, like if you're not in the playoffs, do not pick up waiver wire people because that's for everyone else.
I picked up Traylon Burks this week for the Walter White League. Outside of the fact that he got injured, he's been doing pretty good, actually.
I guess I would amend my comment there just to say, like, in our keeper league, I think it's fine. And if you're in the keeper league and you're in last place, but you're picking someone up because you want to potentially hold on and see it,
that's fine. I
think that's totally fine.
Yeah. I mean, look, if you're in the keeper league right now and you want to pick up like a Jameson Williams, just to see if he'll do anything in these next couple of weeks, or if you pick up, I'm trying to think, like a Mike White.
Yeah, exactly.
Just pick it up, see what happens. I would go for it.
Yeah. Hey, for next year, if we do go with 4 players, a lot of times I think I'm going to stick with Jalen Hurts, Devontae Adams, Damian Pierce, and the other one that I have, CeeDee Lamb. They're not studs, but they're okay.
Yeah. Devontae Adams, you sure? I think he's going to get old.
Well, but if you look at the rest of it, who am I going to keep? Tarek McLaren, Carlos Sutton. I mean, Cortland Sutton. I mean, those are the guys that I'm stuck with.
No, don't you have Javonte Williams?
Yeah, was that?
Don't you have Javonte Williams?
Yeah, but I'm not going to keep him.
Really? I would really consider keeping Javonte Williams
versus the Devontae Adams.
No, possibly over a Damian Pierce.
Yeah. No.
Yeah. Pierce has not been playing well.
No,
lately.
I would really consider Javonte Williams over Pierce.
My argument, the rookie wall. Because once you hit that rookie wall, a lot of times those guys drop. But now it's your second year. They know exactly what to expect.
Yeah.
All right. We'll probably come back on Friday. Here we are going to watch the game. And I'm going to the Dallas Mavericks game. The Steph Curry game is coming up soon. So
you guys see the video of Steph Curry hitting 5 full court shots? Is that real? You guys think that's real?
I think so.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's good.
I think so. Now, I'm sure that they did a bunch of takes, but I'm sure that's real.
Well, so you don't think it was 5 straight?
I bet you a lot of times they just kept recording over and over again until he hit 5.
Okay, so you don't think it's real?
No, I think he's real, but I think he just didn't just pick it up and did it 5 times and did it there. I think he did it a whole bunch of times.
But do you think he got 5 in a row?
Oh yeah,
really?
I'm pretty sure.
That's amazing. Like, to me, that is amazing. Like, to get one or to get 2 in a row, but to get 5, that's insane from full court. That's like if, you know, let's say Patrick Mahomes threw the ball into a trash can, like, you know, whatever, 80 yards away, and he did it 5 times. I
want to see
that
him do
happening.
it in a real game situation.
Yeah, I could. I mean, oh, man. I mean, I think the guy is insane. But that I saw that and was like, man, was that real? Because that was crazy.
Hey, one last thing. If you guys are looking for a new TV series to watch, Paramount Plus, the remake of Criminal Minds, a 10-part series.
Oh, yeah,
I enjoyed it
Ooh.
a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, Criminal! I like Criminal Minds in the old days. When it
Yeah.
first came out, it was really
Yep.
Yeah, I like it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so last with the score that Hill, the 30-yard touchdown, he became the first player in the Super Bowl modern era to record 9+ touchdowns as a runner, receiver, and a passer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Oh, all right. I gotta go wash dishes. I gotta make sure the girls are okay. It's my first night at home, and so I gotta run on you guys.
Yeah, welcome back. It's good seeing you guys.
All right.